I'm 52 years old, and today I am going to attempt one of the hardest trails in Glacier National Park, and that would be the Mount Brown Lookout Trail. It's over 10 miles round trip and over 4,000 feet of elevation gain. So let's go see what these 52-year-old legs and lungs can do out on the trail. Here's my gear I'm going to be taking with me. This is really going to be a photograph trip. Get some hot cocoa, pack, snowshoes. I got to stuff my water still. Gloves, hat, gaiters, taking spikes. I'm not going to take my new Ghost spikes. I'm going to take these classic micro spikes from Catula. Hat. My old-fashioned, what is this thing called? You know what I'm talking about. One of these. I'm not taking my gimbal today. Yeah. Okay, let me get this stuff stuffed. So I'm not technically yet on the Mount Brown Trail lookout. I'm actually on the Sperry Trailhead. That's where you start from this big parking lot outside of Lake McDonald Lodge. So here you can see a map of where we are, and then Mount Brown Lookout, 5.1 miles one way and about 4380 for elevation gain. So that's significant. And here's the elevation profile. I am probably going to do a voiceover for most of this hike, and other than just now, and maybe a little bit at the summit if I make the lookout, I should say. Definitely will add a few little tidbits here and there about the trail and whatnot. So yeah, let's go see what we can do. It's already icy, but I have my big spikes on. So you can actually reach Sperry Chalet and many other destinations from this trailhead. Sperry Chalet is one of the beautiful chalets in Glacier National Park. And here we're looking at the western red cedar, a disjunct species that is common on the west side of a glacier. I talk more about those in my video, Secret Glacier, which I released previous to this one. Here's my messy pack. I like to tie my jacket when I get too hot just on the back of my pack so I don't have to dig inside my pack to access my jacket. You know what? It works. Starting to get some views a little higher on the trail, a little peak of the Apgar Mountains there, little view of Lake McDonald, and then that's Howe Ridge. This is the view of the area where the lookout is residing. It's beyond what you saw there, the lookout, and here's the actual trail leading up to the lookout, about 3.7 miles from this point. I think I'm going to do a try it Tuesday on these True bars. They're a new bar that I found at Costco the other day, and they have really wonderful ingredients, you know, no seed oils, gluten-free, all that good stuff. But I think there might be a problem in winter with these bars, so stay tuned for that. Yeah, they were good though. They taste good. The taste is excellent. Yummy. This is just a shot of what the trail is starting to look like as we get a little higher on the Mount Brown Lookout Trail. Very little snow, unfortunately. I know I said I was going to do a voiceover mainly, but I just wanted to say if you're ever here in wintertime, we're having just the strangest winter with just so little snow. So this is absolutely not the norm. Normally, this would be under feet of snow. So we're either lucky or unlucky this year. I'm not sure which. Maybe lucky now, but unlucky this summer when the whole place burns up from lack of snow and moisture. So hopefully that won't happen, but I'm a little worried. Also, I wanted to mention that this trail burnt some years ago. If I can find when it burnt, I'll put it up on the screen. So this is kind of what it's like all the way to the top. Of course, the views make it totally worth it. All right, let's go. getting some more views of the lake and mountains, but I wanted to mention these trees, the little green ones. They're actually lodgepole pine that came up after the 2017 Sprague fire, and they're so densely packed together. They're actually called a dog hair stand, and once they get a little bigger, you're not even going to be able to push your way through them. And that's because the lodgepole cones only open and drop their seeds after during very hot forest fires.
You may be wondering how the trail is treating me, and not gonna lie, it's hard. My legs are tired. Still glad to be out here though. It's such a gorgeous day. As you can see, we're getting higher and higher on the trail, but I did want to say that you definitely, whether in winter or more likely summer conditions, you definitely don't want to try this trail first day in Glacier unless you're already in really great shape. It's just going to be really hard, and you know, you don't want to get a sour taste in your mouth about the trails in Glacier because this one is so steep and difficult. So definitely ease into, if you do decide to come up here, ease into this trail. Do it after, if you have the time, 2 or 3 more moderate hikes to kind of get acclimated, kind of get used to being on the trail and stuff like that, so you can get the most out of this beautiful trail. We had a wind event here a while back in the western part of Montana, and lots of blow down on the trails. This will be cleared come summer, spring, summer. Won't have to deal with all this business.
When I watch outdoor YouTubers on their trails, I just love this B-roll of them hiking, so I had to throw some in. Getting a little snowier here, and then finally some stunning views of Edwards Mountain is what this peak is called. Gorgeous!
McDonald Lake behind, getting higher and higher. And I also wanted to mention, other than when there's snow up here, summertime conditions, there is no water on the trail. And even if you stick to the trail as you would in summertime conditions, it can be quite hot, especially now with this burn. There's really no cover. So definitely bring plenty of water and drinks if you come up here, especially in summertime.
Going to have a nice view of Lake McDonald here. Lake McDonald is Glacier's largest lake. It measures about 10 miles long and is almost 500 feet deep.
It's the money shot. Finally. Jeez. Took a little while. Mount Brown.
Okay, we're at the base of Mount Brown Lookout, and Mount Brown Lookout was actually staffed every fire season between about 1929 and 1971. It was built in 1928. It is no longer manned full-time. Modern aerial surveillance and high-tech cameras have largely replaced the need for rangers to live on these peaks, though the structure is still maintained for its historical value. See if I can name these peaks for you. Such beautiful views up there. We're looking at Edwards here, and then Mount Brown coming into view, and then we're going to get a magnificent view of the Livingston Range with Heaven's Peak and McPartland and Vaught, and then the last little one was Stanton.
Well, I made it. It was awesome. Yeah, it was pretty tough going in that snow, but thankfully the trail was broken pretty much all the way, which I'm really thankful for. And of course, it was totally worth it with these views up here, which is awesome. So I'm gonna have some hot cocoa, and then I'm gonna get out of Dodge. There, it's a better view. Cheers. It's still warm.
So yeah, that was my hike up Mount Brown Lookout, and I'll tell you, I was a little stiff the next morning after all of that up and down on the trail, over 10 miles and the elevation gain, but it was totally worth it. Thank you so much for watching, and please consider subscribing to my channel and liking this video.